welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Annie and I am currently 23 weeks pregnant with my second baby. So today I'm going to be doing my first pregnancy update. I'm going to be talking about weeks 19 through 22. I just turned 23 weeks on Friday, so I can officially tell you about 19 through 22. We did announce our pregnancy pretty late. I like to do that just to kind of give us time to appreciate the pregnancy for ourselves for a while. But we did announce at around 18 weeks with this one. So I don't have like the first trimester updates, which I kind of wish I did, but here we are. So I will be updating from now on, and I'll try to do every like 3 to 4 weeks update. But I have my notes here, and I don't have like a ton to talk about because in your second trimester just not a lot happens, but I will be talking about some of the more standout things that have happened. So let's just get into it. Okay, so for week 19, the first thing I started to notice in week 19 was how big my stomach was looking. With my first pregnancy, I was definitely bigger than most women, I think, but I definitely didn't start like really showing until a lot later on in the pregnancy. And this time at 19 weeks, I was like, holy cow, I've got to start wearing my maternity clothes. Like nothing was fitting. So that was definitely different for me. Just like how fast I was getting so big. And I know like everybody says that like you will definitely show quicker with your second child than your first, and that's so true. That was definitely the case for me. I also had your typical symptoms like heartburn, like headaches, and just feeling very fatigued and like tired a lot, which it's different for me because I think a lot of women, when they get out of that first trimester and into the second, they feel better, which is kind of the case. But I get so big and like tired with my pregnancies that like there's never really a great break for me. So I definitely was using a lot of Tums in the 19th week because of my heartburn. I have really bad acid reflux when I'm pregnant. It happened with Benji too. One thing that was very different for me that I had not experienced when I was pregnant with Benji is that my nausea kind of went away after the first trimester. So about that like 12 to 14 week period, my nausea really started to subside. But when 19 weeks hit, it really started to pick back up, and my nausea was incredibly insane. And I started to get really, really bad headaches. With the headaches, I was like, maybe I'm dehydrated, maybe I'm overly tired. So I started trying to take a nap in the day, and then I would drink like nonstop water, like just like guzzling water, I felt like. And it wasn't really helping. So I ended up getting a hold of my doctor, and I asked if they had anything that they could prescribe to me for the nausea. So they ended up prescribing me Zofran, and that did not help, and my headaches were not going away, and I was just miserable. So we called back, and they ended up prescribing me something else for the nausea, but they ended up prescribing me something for the headaches as well. And it definitely did help. And by just taking that and getting rid of my headaches, my nausea completely went away. So I haven't dealt with the headaches since then. I think that kind of went into week 20 a little bit, but not too much. So yeah, that was week 19. Now for week 20, I have that my nausea subsided. So that's good. And I wasn't having headaches anymore. And then this kind of felt like a pretty uneventful week. I feel like I didn't have a lot like happening internally or like physically. The one thing that did happen, so I felt my first flutter with this baby at 18 weeks. And I think I remember feeling my first flutter with Benji at 17, which I thought was super early, but I was very active then. So a lot more active than I've been in this pregnancy. So maybe that had something to do with it, but I don't know what I'm talking about, so don't even listen to me. I definitely felt my first flutter at 18 weeks, but I felt the first kick internally at 20 weeks, which was very soon. For me anyway. I know a lot of women feel their kicks now. I think that's pretty normal, but I don't think I remember feeling kicks with Benji until a couple weeks past 20. So that was exciting for me. Nothing that Chase could feel. I wasn't really feeling anything from the outside, but definitely internal kicks for sure. Like, cause if you've been pregnant, you know the difference between like a flutter and then a kick. And then there's the next step of like actually feeling the kicks and like seeing the kicks on the outside, or your like significant other being able to feel the kicks. So this is also the week I had my 20-week anatomy scan, which went pretty well, but it was a pretty big like emotional roller coaster, I think. We had it scheduled obviously for quite a while, so I knew it was coming up, but because of COVID, they hadn't had any couple restrictions. So like you could still bring a guest. One guest, no one under the age of 18, they had to wear a mask. All the precautions, but you could bring someone still. So I got on to my portal, my OB. When you get on the website for the place I go to, they have like a patient portal where you can see when your appointments are, when your blood work comes back in, all that kind of stuff. So I, being the anxious person I am, I got on to make sure that my appointment was at the time that I thought it was. And when I went into the portal, they had recently updated that there were no more guests being welcomed with the patient. And I had probably the biggest like emotional meltdown I've had yet in this pregnancy. That was really, really hard for me to kind of cope with, which is fine. And I am 100% with all of the precautions that have been taken with COVID. Don't get me wrong. I'm not someone to complain about any like restrictions or mandates or anything. But when you like have the idea in your head knowing that your husband can go with you to an appointment, especially the anatomy scan, which is like the biggest appointment in the middle of the pregnancy, and then all of a sudden they tell you you can't, it's just kind of like earth-shattering in the moment, especially when you're pregnant, especially when you're emotional. I don't think there's a pregnant woman in the world that wants to do that alone. I don't. I hate it. It's not something you want to do alone, and if you're pregnant and you're going through it right now, or if you've been pregnant and you can imagine it, you know it sucks. And so I definitely cried. I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm not going, we're rescheduling, I'm not going, but in all I did go, because you have to, but I wasn't happy about it. And I don't want to come across as like complainy, because I'm not complaining about it. Like, I definitely understand why they have those in place. It's just kind of frustrating to find out last minute. But anyway, we got through it. Baby was fine, super, super healthy. The gender is exactly what we thought it was still, because we found out the gender actually at 14 weeks because it was pretty clear what the baby was. So the baby was perfect, but all in all, it was a really, really good appointment and everything was fine. Gave me some peace of mind, but I do wish Chase could have been there. And I also feel really sad for Chase for not getting to experience those things with me. But anyway. Moving on to week 21, this is when I started to feel very overtouched. This is something I've like looked into and like done some research on, and I found that a lot of times women who aren't pregnant feel the same way, but a lot of times when a breastfeeding mom gets pregnant, so I'm breastfeeding my 10-month-old Benji right now, and I'm planning to continue breastfeeding. I'm probably gonna end up tandem feeding. So I feel very much like my body is not my body right now. So I have started to experience a little bit of like touch anxiety and like an overstimulation of touching. And I know I feel like all moms experience this at some point, like just like needing to not be touched. But the one thing that I do feel like really kind of bad about is that it's kind of affecting Chase. Like if Chase wants to like kiss me or hug me or anything like that, I just kind of push him off. Like I'm being touched in every other way you can even think imaginable. You don't need to touch me right now. So I feel kind of guilty about it, but at the same time, like he definitely understands like I'm pregnant. I'm feeling all these kicks and turns inside my stomach and I'm feeling huge and like not myself. And then I also have my 10-month-old who is breastfeeding and constantly wants to be picked up and constantly wants me on the floor playing with him and cuddling and all this stuff. And I'm obviously gonna put Benji first before I like, if I'm gonna choose touch from someone, it's gonna be from Benji, which maybe that sounds bad. I don't know. So comment down below if you have experienced this yourself, but I definitely feel overtouched right now. So that's something that I started experiencing in the 21st week. So that was really weird for me because I'm not like a huge touchy-feely person, but like it's never been this bad for sure. Week 21 is also when my sleep started to get pretty uncomfortable. I'm just getting bigger and bigger by the day, I feel like. And I definitely have been starting to notice at night feeling really uncomfortable, which has sparked some insomnia. Pregnancy insomnia is super, super normal. I got it with Benji really bad. Sometimes I just wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and need to scroll through Instagram for an hour before I can go back to sleep. It sucks, but it is what it is. I definitely in this week started to feel like I needed my pregnancy pillow more and just something to like kind of wedge up under the side of your belly to sleep on. I can no longer sleep on my stomach. I tried to go as long as I could sleeping on my stomach because I'm definitely a stomach sleeper. And if you're a stomach sleeper and you've been pregnant or you are pregnant, you know how much this sucks, because I'm definitely not a back sleeper, and sometimes when you have a big old belly and you try and lay on your side and it just sinks to the side, it's so uncomfortable. So I would definitely highly recommend a pregnancy pillow. They are pretty inexpensive on Amazon. I got mine on Amazon, but I definitely have started to feel like I need something a little more support when I'm sleeping. And then the last thing that I remember dealing with on week 21 is sciatica pain, which is something I got very, very, very badly with Benji. I asked my doctor what it was. He presumed it was sciatica. I don't know if that's officially what it is. It could just be regular back pain, but it's kind of like a numbing in the nerves down my leg. Really sucks. When you're trying to lay comfortably at night and then you get a shooting sciatica pain, it's like, that's the worst. I've tried to use my heating pad on it. Doesn't really help too much, but it kind of subsides the uncomfortableness a little bit. Okay, moving on to week 22. Thankfully, because my lighting is getting terrible. This is the week that Chase finally got to feel a kick on the outside. So we started feeling external kicks from the baby, which is so much fun. I think that's like one of the most exciting parts, especially for your significant other. Chase gets so excited. So when I was pregnant with Benji, Chase had to go on a work trip for 6 weeks, which was really hard. He was gone for the first part of the pregnancy pretty much, so he wasn't really like talking with the baby that much, but when he got back, he like really wanted to talk to the baby. And this time with Benji, he's been kind of distracted, so he hasn't been much. But when I was like, hey, I'm feeling external kicks, he was like on it. He was so excited to feel my belly, and then he actually ended up feeling it. Now he regularly feels it, and I actually started to see kicks when I'm like laying down at night, so that's really fun too. This last week I still was feeling very overtouched. I don't think that has really went away yet. I don't expect it to go away anytime soon. I'm sure it'll just continue to get worse. And then again, the sleep insomnia and sciatica pain is also just kicking in. Again, this really wasn't a week that we had anything too new. So probably the most exciting thing that we did in week 22, I don't know why. I think I was just having like a little bit of me time out while Chase was home one day. I went to my favorite little like baby boutique. It's called The Flying Kite. I think you can order stuff online, so maybe I'll link them down below. But I was just kind of strolling around there one day, just like looking for like new baby stuff. They had a lot of like seasonal stuff on sale, so I was kind of just browsing and I wasn't really finding anything. And then when I went to leave, I spotted this book, which is so perfect for our situation, and I just had to get it. It is called Baby Belly, and it's basically just like a wordless picture book explaining to a baby that there's gonna be a new baby. And then this is so cute. Another little boy. 2 little boys. 2 little blonde boys. So I thought this was so perfect, and I've been really like nervous about having 2 under 2. I know it's really common, but it's not something that we planned for, so it's definitely kind of nerve-wracking. How do you explain to a baby that there's gonna be another baby? And I know that there's women that have dealt with this, like how do you explain to a 10-month-old that they're gonna have a brother? But we've been showing him this book every single day for the past week, and he has started to like pound on my belly and like smile at my belly. So I don't want to say he understands, because I'm sure he doesn't, but this is definitely a good way to start incorporating trying to tell your already baby that there's another baby on the way. And I thought this was really cute, and it's going to be such a good keepsake that the boys can look at as they grow up, and then I can show them once we're pregnant and later on in the future. But yeah, super cute little book. I was so excited to find this. It's just called Baby Belly, so if I can't link it, that's what it's called. This is what it looks like. That is it for my 19 to 22 week pregnancy update. I'm getting so excited about this baby. We're starting to like prepare a little bit and think about things that we need because it's coming faster than I can even imagine. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please, please, please consider subscribing down below. Hit that like button. Leave a comment if you are going through a similar thing. I'd love to hear about your guys' experiences as well. But I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Love you. Bye.
But you keep on telling lies.